Hello, friends, and welcome to this week's edition of the Boot Room, the show where we look ahead to Ipswich Town's weekend game. This weekend it is potentially the biggest game of the season. I'm Mark Heath, with me Andy Warren to preview Ipswich Town's huge trip, Andy, to league leaders Plymouth. Town on a good run of form. Plymouth haven't lost in the league since the very first game of the season. By any accounts, this is a huge game, a real chance for Town to properly make a statement to the rest of the league. How are you feeling about this one?
It's a huge trip in every way you look at it, isn't it? A long old slog down to home park, but when we get there, yeah, it's a big game. All right, Plymouth top of the league. That's where Ipswich want to be. They expected to be higher in the table than they are right now, but they're going in the right direction, and it feels like a nice time for Ipswich to be at a point where they're taking on the league leaders, and not just the league leaders on Saturday. Of course, Wycombe currently in second on Tuesday night. It's not impossible that Wycombe might be top by Tuesday. They could have back-to-back games against league leaders at this point. And to me, it feels like the right time for Ipswich to be going into these games, which is a really positive thing.
I should just apologise. My dog has just started barking, so I was on mute there. So if he does continue to bark, I do apologise. There's not a lot I can do. He is uncontrollable. Doesn't.
He's just excited.
Exactly.
He's just excited about the game. That's all
He heard we were talking about Plymouth, and he got all excited. So obviously, I mean, in terms of this game, it's the top of the table. That Plymouth are, and they also have a player who played for Town last season. It was in fact Town's player of the season last season, James Wilson. Now a key part of that back line. And Plymouth, as well as being pretty decent at the back with Wilson, they also score a lot of goals, don't they, Andy? So we're expecting a fairly kind of open game, are we?
Yeah, I think every game involving Ipswich is open. We know that. That's Paul Cook likes his side to play, and they can score goals. We know that they're right up in the scoring charts. And Plymouth are an open side as well. They play three at the back. Ryan Lowe, by all accounts, has got them playing some good football. Ryan Lowe and Paul Cook, they know each other very well. So this should be an interesting battle between two teams in form now. We weren't able to say that a few weeks ago, were we? But Ipswich are a team in form as well. So all things considered, a really big game and one I'm really looking forward to seeing.
Now, obviously, the big question every week is who plays, who starts for Town from the embarrassment of riches they have. I mean, obviously, they're on a good run of form. So would you be looking to change much, if anything, this weekend, Andy?
Not an awful lot. I'd have 9 of the injuries permitting, of course, but I'd have 9 of the 11 locked in from last weekend. In reality, if it was same again, I don't think there'd be too many complaints. You might get a complaint out of Bersant Salina, perhaps, that he wasn't in the team if it was to be the same again after his efforts at the weekend. But Paul Cook's shown he likes to keep a winning side. He's got a winning side at the moment, so we can't rule out a same again scenario. But for me, the only positions in question would be the wide areas. Got no problem if it is Sonny Aluko and Kyle Edwards going again, but in Wes Burns in particular, actually, there's a player there that I would really want to get back into this team, particularly against a side that play 3 at the back, where if you can get him in a pocket, kind of isolated, to have a go at the left-sided centre back in there, then that's one that I would like to see happen. So if there's one player that's going to come back into this team for me, it would be Wes Burns. That would be harsh on Sonny Aluko in kind of like-for-like swaps. Whether Paul Cook can then move Aluko over to the left side, I don't know. I don't see a reason why he can't play well there. But for me, Wes Burns is the one to get back into this side. And that could potentially mean Bersant Salina still on the bench, and it could even mean Kyle Edwards still on the bench as well. So, like you say, an embarrassment of riches. And in reality, it's not really a selection he can get wrong. He can get it in different degrees of right, but I don't think you can get it wrong as such.
I think we can flash up your team so we can have a little chat about it. Yeah. I mean, to be talking, who you leave out on the left-hand side or on either wing, really, but to be saying Kyle Edwards and Bersant Salina may not start is fairly surprising, isn't it?
It's they've got options. It's nice. It's nice to have options. My little predicted teams on the bottom there. It could well be wider than Mark, but I think you've got 9 of the 11 nailed on there. I've gone for Burns and Aluko as the two wide players. But like you've said, that there are options. If Salina starts on the left, no one's going to grumble. If Edwards got another goal on the left, nobody's going to grumble. There they're all going to be involved in the squad, and they're all options for Cook. It's
Who
it's a good place to be.
Absolutely, it's a nice problem to have, haven't they? Isn't it? To use the old cliche, yeah, bringing Bertrand Salina and Carl Edwards off the bench potentially terrifying for any side they're playing. So I guess the big question of every week, Andy, is how you see things going. A huge game, a huge opportunity for Ipswich Town. Can they keep their good run going? A draw, it would be a good result at the league leaders. As I say, have not lost at all since opening day. How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think obviously we're the best way for Ipswich to make up the ground they need to make up on the automatic promotion places, and indeed on the playoff places, is to beat the teams there. But let's not lose sight of going to the league leaders and getting a point being a good thing.
Mm.
I think it will be open. I think both sides will score goals in the game. So if anybody's going to win it, they're going to need to score twice. I would suggest, but I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Ipswich are going to be well in it. But for me, I can see this one being a draw. But that's a good thing. I know there's ground to make up for Ipswich. They need to win games, and they need to win games consistently. But an away draw against the league leaders is never going to be a bad thing. So my prediction is 1-1.
Okay, you're going 1-1. I think it'll be a draw as well. So I'm going to say 2-2. I think I originally predicted Town to win, but I'm getting less confident as I get to the game. So I'm going to say 2-2 at Home Park. So, but a point would be a fine result, wouldn't it? A team that are so in form as Plymouth, and a point away from home at the league leaders. Fantastic stuff. Okay, you can follow the game with Andy. He'll be there with Ross this weekend. So follow it with him in print and online. Enjoy the game if you're going, and if not, we'll speak to you again next time.